Streaming into the void, the show where we talk about whatever the hell we feel like. My name is Samuel the Infamous, and joining me today we've got Abe over from the UK.
Yo, what's going on?
Hello. Not
Yo.
much, not much. And we also have with us today the inimitable Caucasian Sasquatch.
I'm not. Wait. What does that mean? I don't know if I should stab you or shoot you or
I'm
thank
waiting.
you. What does it mean? I think we've lost.
It's a compliment.
Sam.
Don't worry about it. Your hair looks nice.
It's a compliment. Don't worry about
it. Yeah, it's a compliment. Sorry about that, folks. I am having issues apparently today. So I was late in getting the post out for this on Twix. I was late in getting the shit set up. Well, I got it set up last night, but I was late in taking care of everything else. I fucked up the link for people a couple of different times. It is what it is. So hopefully this is not a complete shit show, but we will do what we can. I do have some stuff to talk about today, but we're just kind of winging a little bit, have a bit more of a relaxing, I think, kind of stream. You know, might not even go the full 2 hours or whatever. We'll see what happens. Maybe somebody shows up, maybe somebody doesn't, aside from the three of us. But the three of us, I think, can handle pretty much anything comes our way. So that said, we are currently live on my YouTube channel, Squatch's YouTube channel, Twix, and Rumble. So if you're in any of those places, please do drop a comment and let us know you're there, and I will do my best to bring it up on screen. Speaking of which, we've got Larry first. We have Abe not first. We have Aaron Laura not second. Lapo was here, but yeah, message retracted. I don't. Did he actually post message retracted, or did he actually retract the message? It's hard to tell.
Retracted. Yes, that's what that is.
Yeah,
you know, it's what it is. Welcome in. We got Caucasian Sasquatch here in the chat as well as on the panel. All right, folks. So this might be a shit show today. Just fair warning. It might be. We'll see what happens.
Yeah.
Welcome to the show. Welcome to the show. I don't. There's a couple things that we could cover today, but I am going to probably start with something that's going to make Squatch crawl out of his skin. So you remember that one episode we did that you hate me referring to, that I bring up all the time?
And like, I just woke up. I'm having bad dreams, so I knew I shouldn't have come here.
I think I lost my connection there. Damn it.
Yes. This is going to be great, y'all. We're going to be able to whisper behind his back and all kinds of other things.
Oh, yeah.
Right? This is a fucking disaster so far.
I'm just going to start telling jokes.
Go for it.
Yeah, it's just fantastic. I don't know what the hell's going on. Anyhow, what I was saying was, Squatch, you remember that episode that we did a couple months ago that you hate me bringing up because it makes your skin crawl?
Because of the organelles, organoids. Those things suck, dude. I hate them. I hate that they ever happen.
Yeah, we got updates.
Telling me about it.
Yeah, me too. I don't even know if this is going to work. So, you know, maybe it does, maybe it doesn't. We'll see what happens. I'm going to try to share this. Normally I have Gal do this stuff for me because her internet is not the worst, but we'll see what happens. So chat, let me know if this is skipping or not being good.
Oh yeah,
it's
the devil
herself.
Anyhow, yeah, she's here to reveal everything horrible in the world.
It is. I you know, she is a font of content, is what she is. So we will try this out and see how it goes.
There you go.
And it's already fucking lagging. God damn it.
Yeah, it looks like it's still buffering.
You got a link for that, bro?
Yeah, shit. All right. Yeah, give me just a second and I'll post it in the private chat here for you.
We'll do all that pre-show prep now.
Yes, this is how a professional YouTube show works, folks. We do everything live. Fuck it, we're doing it live.
Fuck it, we'll do it live.
So, yeah. Welcome in Zatoichi 444. Hey, Clifton, how you doing?
Yeah, Clifton.
We've got is that Fletch 83? P Fletch?
Yes, Fletch. P Fletch 83. I call him Fletch because one of my favorite movies, man.
Fair enough.
Let's talk about
everything I hate all in one neat package. Would you stop chewing on my wires, Floor Goblin? Him and our big dog got into a fight earlier.
Yeah. Were there any winners?
No, we all lost.
Yeah. Sounds about right.
Anytime you're ready there,
wow,
Sammy.
This is wild. I just brought it up and it's not coming up for some reason.
Because it hates
Here, hold
me.
on a second.
It hates me dearly. There you go.
I don't think this is on my end. I think this might be fucking StreamYard's.
Could be.
Yeah.
StreamYard's been trash for about 2 months now, 3 months.
Yeah. They've had quite a bit of
one of my
this, haven't they?
Everybody heard that?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
I did, yeah.
Yeah.
I haven't watched this, by the way. This is not pre-watched, so.
Magnetically reshapeable 3D multi-electrode arrays of liquid metals for electrophysiological analysis of brain organoids. Man, screw you.
topics. Yes, the major advancements that have happened in the field of using tiny human brains you can grow in a literal jar if you want to and have run a computer, which you can purchase if you want to. Cortical Labs, an Australian company, released the first computer that you can purchase for about $30,000, which is a pretty hefty price tag, but I imagine it will be.
This is going to be great. Sam?
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I'm having troubles. Tell you what, I will be right back. Talks amongst yourselves.
All right, bro.
There we go. Stand up time, Sasquatch.
Yeah, man. Hi, Ohio Steve. Welcome in. Flash 83. Good to see you. Zatoichi 444. I don't know, fours. That's 3 4s. Seems like there should be 4 4s. I don't know. Andy Pickle. Greetings. You're not high enough. No, you're not. I'm not either. I'm not even awake enough for this trash. I should have asked for a cup of coffee, maybe an espresso or 9mm top up. Fucking organoids again. Why do people keep putting things in the brain? Or worse yet, when they put brains in things.
Yeah, it's kind of weird, isn't it? Like, who the fuck needs something like a smart kettle, for fuck's sake?
Yeah, your kettle's gonna tell you that you're a bad person, and then put a black square on its profile on Twitch.
Or like a smart fridge. Or what's next? A smart tap? That could even be a thing. I don't even know.
Shut up before you give them ideas. Just stop. I mean, dude, look. Back several years ago, I had this really wild science teacher. This was back in high school many moons ago. And he broke down basically the entire 2020 synopsis for me in like 1995.
Yeah.
Right. Now, there are certain details he didn't get right, like the death toll. What's up, Lindsay? Good to see you, girl. Eli Family 1983, welcome in. Appreciate you coming through, bud. And we have our inimitable host. Inimitable.
Inimitable. Yeah.
Look, just don't hurt yourself, kid. It'll be all right. I'm from Georgia. I don't need those words. What good?
It'd be easier to say perhaps irreplaceable.
Sure. I'd be the only person in Georgia that could say that word anyway. So what's the purpose of it?
Well, it's not really about
you could.
you or Georgia, is it? It's about me and my want of using big words for no reason.
Like anti-disestablishmentarianism.
Yeah, or antediluvian.
That's
like
too
that.
small.
It's buried. When
It's a big concept, though. So anyhow, sorry about that, folks. Hopefully the glitching will end now. We'll see what happens. It is, like I said at the top of the show, this could very well be a shit show all the way through. So I do apologize in advance.
Absolutely.
Anywho,
You know how we do it. All the fuckery up front. Let's get it.
Let's go.
Will be purchased for laboratories primarily. Cortical Labs is not the first to do this. Final Spark, another company, made neuro platforms that you can use brain organoids at a distance, and you can even watch them think in real time on their website if you want to. Cortical Labs 2 is also going to have remote use as an option. From their perspective, they want it to be energy conserving. We know that AI requires whole nuclear power plants to power it. These guys can do a lot of what AI can do, and they're also...
Yeah, Andy Pickles, that antebellum thing means before the war of northern aggression.
That's true. No, antediluvian means before the flood.
Yeah.
You know, the big flood.
Antebellum is the important one. Something wrong with me.
Maybe the Southerners.
Or when the South rises again, sir, it'll be important for the world.
Yeah, when the South rises again, that might be a big deal for the Yankees. But I'm in the West, dude.
Do you know what? Greatest general of the South, Foghorn Leghorn.
I'll say, boy, we've run them, boy. I'll say we've run them boys right across the river.
It occurs to me, you doing that voice like that, and the topic that's up on the screen currently, and the fact that AI is taking over everything, right? How much more effective do you think AI would be at doing like voice impressions and that sort of thing if we plugged some of these organoids into it?
Oh, infinitely.
They would develop a lisp and try to virtue signal.
Yeah, well, like you could get to a point in which you could say to the AI on your phone, "All right, have this voice," and then do it with a lisp, and it'd do it. Because
we're almost to that point now without the organoids.
Yeah,
Not too terrible long ago, there was an AI snafu that went down that completely crippled Google image search for historical figures. Do we remember this?
Yeah, that was brilliant.
He created one of our best characters on the blast radius, Black George Washington.
It was amazing. All of the Nazis of World War II, every last one of them, black and Asian.
Yep. Talking about shooting yourself.
Yeah, it's like, where the fuck are your biases now, motherfuckers?
Right. Did you guys ever see that movie Overlord?
Yes.
Yeah.
This is about quote unquote Project Overlord, which was like Nazi zombies and shit.
Yeah.
Oh, no. Wait. Maybe yes, but I was thinking about the anime. I'm sorry. I'm taking Gal's spot today. I'm the weeb, I guess.
Okay. Yeah. You can sit over there and hump your body pillow that's shaped like Naruto or whatever.
It's already too greasy. I'm not touching that thing.
Pillow, man. Wash it once in a while.
It's waterproof now.
It'll clean itself. It's fine.
You know what's funny though? Does it smell like fish? I'm so confused.
Anyhow, no, it was interesting. It takes place during World War II, and like the main character is this black guy who got assigned to an all-white company, which didn't happen back then, by the way. And then he ends up being like the sole survivor who escapes this village full of like zombied up Nazis and like weird
Yeah.
T virus looking experiments and shit. It was a weird movie. It's kind of fun, but it was like there's nothing
That
about this.
sounds very
They're like,
familiar.
oh
to
yeah,
me.
this is historically accurate. No, it wasn't. Not at all.
No zombies then, I'm
Can you
afraid.
imagine the
No
conversation
black people doing that either.
that takes place after he escapes and is the sole survivor and starts trying to tell the white commanders what happened? And they're like, right, boy, right. We know exactly what happened. You killed them all. String him up.
Yeah, pretty much.
More zombie in the pile.
Yep. Sounds more plausible.
Yeah. Anyway, it's a weird shit. But this chick, so GT here is her channel is called. I have no idea what her name is. I'm assuming it starts with a G and or a T. She brings us the very best in body horror. Sometimes.
She's horrible. I hate this woman. I don't hate her. I hate what she's trying to do. She is actively not only trying to do it, but cheering it on like it's a good idea with the whole world screaming, stop it.
Oh yeah. Like I think Devil said it last week, but this woman's everything that she represents and pushes for is the epitome of the concept of just because we can doesn't mean we should.
Right? Hubris.
A lot less power hungry. The problems with using them is that you do require complex organoids in order to do a lot of the thinking we need it to do. You need diverse cell types. But a complex brain organoid is also going to be something you need to communicate with. What's been used in computation has been flat electrodes that the brain organoid is essentially just sitting on that can record electrical activity and can send activity back. Remember, they prefer ordered signals, and they can also...
That's so freaking dark. I mean,
it's pretty fucking dystopian, isn't it?
It gets really, really messed up when you start thinking of it, even in like when you get into the metaphysical of it, for example, right? So there's a question I used to ask everybody on this panel years ago, which was about whether clones had souls or not. Well, technically, organoids are clone cells, but if they're thinking, right? Do they have like little partial souls or mini souls or whatever, or what are we doing to those things? You know.
I think people tend to focus on what the outcome of research will be, as opposed to the ethical implications of actually doing it to begin with.
Yeah, right. That's how 731 operated.
Yeah.
Anyway,
so, you know,
what I'm getting at is what she just said is nightmarish. She is not talking about having grown these things in situ. Essentially, the way she describes it, they're sliced up and slapped on electrodes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And thinking that anything that's even remotely approaching a brain could just be treated as nothing more than a piece of meat. That's always creeped me out a little bit.
Yeah, it is. It's creepy. It's dystopian as it could possibly be. Sheesh.
Yeah.
Also get a little dose of dopamine when they do something right. In this way, they have both punishment and reward. To solve the electrode problem, this research group used soft metals, something that would not cause a great degree of damage. Remember, things that go in your brain can also cause damage.
No shit. No kidding.
Honey,
really?
Just listening to you, I'm certain it has caused damage.
Now, to be fair, like she does have some issues, but I don't, and I think that's partially why she's so interested in stuff like this, because she's of the school of thought thinking that these kinds of things can only help, you know, people with specific issues, like just throwing one out there, like maybe Parkinson's or cerebral palsy, or you know, these kinds of things. But I mean, I'm sure there's some idiot out there who thinks that you could fix Down syndrome, but unless you can extract an extra chromosome from every strand of DNA in that person, it ain't gonna change nothing.
Look, Downs with the syndrome people are so happy. Have you ever met one that was sad? I mean, they're all just absolutely.
Yes, but it was over like something very temporary and easily fixable.
Sure, well, in all fairness, Down with the Syndrome was my favorite Disturbed song ever. So I can't really say shit.
You might be one of those Downs babies.
Hell yeah. I'm
Get
down.
up, come on, get down with the syndrome.
I think maybe you got the wrong song, brother.
Ooh,
Retardedness is the gift that has been given to me.
right? That's terrible. Calm down. You know, it's funny. It's what's funny about that is like because it's become part of like popular culture to say like we say Down's syndrome, right? It's Downs but with an apostrophe. The guy it's named after was his last name was Down. It didn't have an S on the end of it. So.
And also, I'm pretty sure he wasn't down with the syndrome himself. He simply
he just felt really down all the time because of what he discovered.
He's down with chronic.
But,
it was like, man, these chromosomes are beating my ass. Yeah.
Right. So anyhow, this whole thing, like, what I'm curious about as well is like if Sasquatch, if the way you described it is accurate, if they're essentially slicing up chunks of brain and slapping them on there and calling them organoids, instead
I
of
thought you were going to say call
them.
it a sandwich.
I mean, you could do that too, I guess, if you wanted to. I don't. Okay. You know, if your last name is Sawyer and you live in Texas and you got a thing for hammers and chainsaws, I bet that would be a delicious sandwich.
Mm-hmm.
Anyhow, where are they getting these brains from? Where are they getting these slices from? Because they'd have to be living brains, right? Because you know,
I assume they're probably animals.
No. This is human tissue.
They are definitely human. We checked into that like months ago when I discovered they were doing this trash because he told me about it, and I don't like it. I just
Squatch has been mad at me for a while about
no part of it.
I mean, it's possible they could have extracted human brain tissue from people that were, well, about to die.
Less likely. More likely, they got it from those people who had not yet been born. That's your most likely source for these types of brain things, because you need a actually it'd be earlier than that.
Yeah, they'd have to keep them alive during that process, though, right?
Yeah,
like they kind of generally speaking, where they get stuff like stem cells and spare parts, if you will, and all that are from fetuses that have been destroyed, right? Because the viability of the stem cells doesn't necessarily is still okay after the thing is dead. You can still use those cells to do other things, but in the case of brain tissue, right, it has to be alive to do anything. Otherwise, it is just a lump of meat.
Kind of like me, first thing in the morning, just sitting around going, coffee.
Right. So again, my question would be like, where are they getting these from? It's possible, yeah, they're siphoning it out of like fetuses in the womb or whatever, which is fucking super dark.
I just made a breakthrough. And I'm kind of worried about saying it out loud, bro. Have they tried cocaine and Monster Energy on these things? It does wonders at every college in America.
I mean, maybe that's what happened was they were doing some cocaine. Somebody knocked over their Monster Energy drink and it interfaced with the keyboard.
Yep. And they still left me with a sticky keyboard. Those bastards.
Yeah. Some of that's brain tissue.
Yeah. Well, a little jism too.
I like the brain chips. Using these little electrode spikes, it actually worked better. It didn't damage the brain organoids the same way that other electrodes would. And they were able to get better information with a three-dimensional structure than flat electrodes could as well. This is going to allow us to use larger, more complex brain organoids while still maintaining that observation. Now, on to what it can do.
Hold up.
We know that these guys could operate in 3D spaces quite.
So she's talking about escalation.
Yeah.
Do you know any commie that doesn't?
Right. But there comes a point where they're no longer organoids and they're just harvesting whole fucking brains out of people's fucking heads.
Yeah. Well,
right,
I mean, this is why Neuralink has only accepted supposed volunteers so far, people with nothing to lose. And the technology that they use, they even refer to the kind of things that they're referring to in this video as artificial tendrils.
Yeah. This goes to some places I think that maybe we as a species don't come back from.
This is
As a
Borg shit.
species, now, as a species, you go there, and then you're different. You're no longer this species. So whatever comes out the other end isn't us.
Yeah.
Which is the stated end goal of all transhumanists.
Yeah.
Is to become something else. Right. Which is like, Dave, you bring up Neuralink. That's why I'm dead set against that shit. It's like, yes, obviously there are practical applications that are beneficial to certain people in certain situations. That is 100% true. The problem is that people don't just do things out of the goodness of their fucking heart, and they don't limit themselves to the beneficial applications of anything that we produce.
Yeah, of course.
Let me run this one by you, bro. Yeah, sure. It could help thousands, even millions of people. But how many brains got sliced up just to do this?
Yeah.
They have to be alive. They have to be functioning. That's been covered in what we've watched.
I mean, did they bring lobotomies back in hospitals? Is that where they're getting this shit from, and they just didn't tell anybody?
Dude, I would not be surprised in the least if something like that had popped up. They did that back in like the 20s and 30s and didn't tell nobody in the first place.
Yeah.
It was like the ice pick treatment.
I would say that the logical end route of this is at the nexus of the argument of speciesism. And to what extent would you argue that one species and its flesh is worth more than another's?
I believe this ends in 40K.
Yeah, probably.
Maybe some Dune activity to go with it.
I don't know. I don't think it goes that far. I think most of that is in the realm of science fiction and not the possibility. Like, sure, it's possible it could go that way, but I think that honestly, we end up destroying ourselves totally this way.
How long ago was it that this was science fiction?
Not long enough.
Not very.
Yeah. So imagine how compounding human imagination combined with AI, combined with all of this sort of shit, could take us, for better or worse.
Abe, I'm starting
probably
to hate
worse.
What was that, Sasquatch?
I'm starting to hate Abe too. It's your fault.
Look, I will always be the devil's advocate. Not the devil we know, but the real one.
Well, they've had it control the body of a virtual butterfly, and they've had it play Pong. It is better than AI in that area. For this reason, mapping of a 3D world is something they can do, but they seem to have some of the same limitations that we have too. We cannot pull up vast amounts of information instantly. It's stored somewhere in our neurons, and we're a lot bigger than a brain organoid. For this reason, using it for an LLM, a social chatbot, may not be the best use of them, but they can learn language. I imagine we could use it for agentic learning, for decision-making and how to process information when you're not actively using a social LLM. But that is asking a lot. We're going to have to see where this will go and what they're going to be capable of. With vascularization and immunocompetence being on the horizon, I saw a prepub for that. I don't know how big they could get. I don't know how complicated they could get, but
whole human brains.
Yes. No, that's what she just said. And then she turned around and said that she doesn't know if that's possible.
Yet. Oh man. So like I applaud her optimism. I do. I applaud it. It takes a special kind of smart idiot to see nothing but the good possibilities from something like this.
She's getting paid, dude.
Yeah.
It's not
that's true too.
It's a paycheck. If you pay me to say some shit, I'm a voice actor. It's not even going to be any hair off of my anatomy.
I don't know. I think that she believes it. I think
I
she
hate
does.
it. I hate
I
everything
mean,
about
all
it.
forms of.
Teeth. I hate everything about this.
I mean, I don't really care about this woman. It's, the information she's imparting on the audience that's, the point. Now, all technology throughout history has always been a double-edged sword. On the one hand, we can do something that can take us to the moon, and it's also the same technology that could wipe the Earth out thousands of times over. So,
Yeah.
again,
Elon Musk is
this
not
is what I
that
said
type of
last
dude.
week. This is what I said last week about the issue of alignment. It's not simply with AI, it's with the humans who control the technology that is being developed.
Well,
Right? They're not
yeah.
us.
It always comes down to that. Like who makes the buck? Who controls the thing? There's like, for instance, the internet. The invention of the internet, going all the way back to like DARPA and whatnot. It's the single most powerful and sophisticated information and communication tool ever created, right? What do we use it for?
Porn.
Cat videos.
Porn, memes, cat videos. Yeah.
Yep. And also, I found this. Wait, no, I'll show you in a minute. You're not ready for it.
Yeah, we should let's finish this before we bring anything else up.
Right.
It is exciting. When it comes to the ethics, you have to understand that most of these advances come out of medicine, and most of the computation is coming out of private industry. Researchers do not feel the same way about brain organoids that the public does. I do admire that it's spooky and it's kind of fun, but we do have to be realistic. Are they sentient? Quite possibly. They've been defined as such because they're capable of having
Holy
experience.
shit, woman!
They lack.
Do you not see the ethical problem with this?
Demons, devils just walking the fucking street looking like hot blonde
Oh,
chicks.
fuck. She just says it like that. Like,
This
are
is
they
not
sentient?
wow.
Yeah, probably. It's fine.
Probably.
We're just gonna keep torturing the little bastards while they scream and do computations for us.
I'm gonna guess.
Yeah, BRB just gonna go and have a steak. There's no incongruity there, is there?
Huh. Nah.
Holy shit! I have
that's-
no mouth and I must scream. That is the
Right?
single
Yes.
thought
That's
occupies
yes.
all of these organoids.
Yes. Like a whole freaking tray of these damn things.
Like their whole existence is objectively horror.
Yeah.
She's like, yeah, it's fine. We'll just keep poking them.
I mean, with something like an organoid, it's not a fully formed organism which can experience things.
Awareness, bro. She said
She
awareness.
said they knew they were sentient.
Yeah, I'm not sure what definition she's using there for sentient, because
The
that
woke
seems a
one,
little
whichever
flaky.
one that is. Guarantee it.
Because, like, a cow, for example, is totally sentient, and we murder them wholesale.
Yeah, but they're so tasty.
Well, exactly.
They're not
Because
made
they're
out of
useful
pieces of
to
us,
us.
though, too. So, I mean, there's that.
That's
Well,
true.
that's the thing that makes us truly uncomfortable. The fact that this is something that's vaguely human,
Yes.
even if it's not actually human,
Genetically,
makes
it's
us
100%
uncomfortable.
human.
Yeah.
Sir. How is it not actually? Are you saying a pre-developed fetus is not human?
No, I've not
Oh.
said that.
Oh, so are you saying a post-developed fetus is not human?
No. And I
Okay,
see the
so what
avenue
point
you're trying
in time-
to take me down, and
Just
I'm
asking
gonna
questions.
fuck off down the yellow brick road if you don't mind, because that's just silly. Like, this is an actual position that is reasonable to take. That I remember seeing a study a few years ago, right, where some people, they were philosophers and biologists, came together and they basically came to the conclusion that a child up to something like 5 years old was no more cognitively developed than, some of your favorite animals. Now, they then said, what is the difference between killing that child and killing an animal of equal intelligence.
No, sir. We're not discussing an animal of equal intelligence. We're
No.
discussing a
Let me
thing
finish.
that's
Let me
created
finish.
from human DNA.
I think it's morally repugnant to think of humans in that manner. That is a human child, right? This is a matter of human cells. Now, bearing in mind, some of these organoids could probably contain as many cells as you shed from your skin per year, naturally. Now, the thing that I'm particularly concerned about is her idea that they're sentient. And I want to know more about that, if there's any way we could dig deeper into that.
You just tried to compare a living human patch of brain cells to the detritus one sloughs off the outside of their skin suit. It's not the same, bro.
A cell is a cell, is it not?
It is not.
Different cells are different. You know, like that.
Yes.
Like a brain cell is very, very.
They are
different
still
than a skin
cells.
cell is very different than a bone cell or a red blood cell. They all serve specific functions, right?
So
as far as we know-
if someone gets a heart transplant from a pig, does that make them less human by definition?
Yes.
And tastier. Dude, don't mess with me. I'll bring it back around to you. Let's move on with the video.
All right, yeah.
The question, all right.
Because like this whole field is a gigantic minefield.
To be fair, I don't think they should be doing this shit with pig brains either. This whole thing smacks of like something straight out of the void between worlds where all is horror and darkness.
I've got absolutely no doubt that in some point in the future, this technology will be used for some form of evil.
I'm absolutely positive she uses tentacle dildos. You have a chance, Sam.
I am Captain Bad Dragon.
yeah, she's a subscriber to Bad Dragon. She gets a new one every 2 weeks.
Sorry, I didn't mean to do that.
No, it's fine. Let's go.
Cannot meet the medical definition of consciousness. They have no sleep or wake cycle. As for the philosophical one, I'm not sure how we could demonstrate that they have a concept of self. As is, they're tiny. And
that's
a bad argument.
Yeah. They're tiny.
This is a soul way.
Yeah, like the size of an organism is irrelevant to whether it's
epic. What she just did there was she said that Andre the Giant is worth more than Peter Dinklage based on size alone.
She's a fat positivity, a body positivity advocate. You can't expect her to tell the truth.
Mm. Yeah.
You can tell she needs to eat more.
And that's not enough brain matter to become a functional human. Could that be overcome one day? If so, what would that look like? Could they ever achieve consciousness? Quite possibly. There is something that feels kind of wrong about using human brains.
Yes.
Yeah.
She gets
around. That is your soul speaking to you, woman. That moment of this doesn't feel quite right. That is your humanity itself screaming out while you destroy millions of minds.
Not for nothing, folks out there, but if, for lack of a better word, your conscience is telling you something's wrong, it probably is. You know,
right?
Well, I mean, that's a matter of conditioning as well, though, isn't it?
I think to a point, but I think we also all inherently have one. We don't all inherently listen to said conscience, but I think that something like that is inherent to the human condition.
Let me ask you this: when was the last time you were spreading a unborn fetus's brain across the circuit and stopped and thought, "Are we the baddies?"
Spreading it like some kind of human pate.
You whipped out a pocket mirror and saw the death's head on your hat, and you're like, "Oh no!"
Yeah. I don't even know what to say to that, man. Yeah, that's quite an image. All I'm thinking of is human pate.
right?
That's
Before
it.
I
Spread it on a
that-
circuit board like the circuit board's a cracker.
Exactly. That's exactly what I was thinking.
It's like-
Homie's over there. He's got his little hat on. He's got his little face mask on. He's wearing his white coat. He's got his full clean suit on. He's like,
Yeah. Holy shit.
Tanya, this is human brain cells I'm spreading on this. Yeah, I know you're doing a really good job.
You know what this
Daddies?
reminds me of? Like you bring out the whole like, you know, guy like slurping the fucking thing off of the anyway, the Little Mermaid, Ursula, when she opens up that little thing next to her seat and it's got all those tiny little dudes in it, right? And those tiny little dudes are filled with fear and dread because they know one of them is about to die. Right. That's what this puts me in mind of. If that ever did achieve consciousness, like that's the kind of life that they have to look forward to. The very short life, I might add, because she has also told us in the past that these things don't live more than 100 fucking days at most under ideal conditions.
Yeah.
Anson, I do not accept your utilitarian models. I believe they are just a method to unsoul the people involved. And when you have soulless people inventing things and using soulless people to invent them, there is no limit to the amount of evil that can be brought upon to bear.
Poor unfortunate souls. Yeah.
10 seconds left, folks. We can do it.
Yeah.
As a computational tool and being sold. But there's also a lot of pretty awful things that humans agreed with. I'm not sure how to feel about this, but it's an evolving landscape. I guess we'll find out.
Is it just me or did she completely change her position by the end of the video?
No, she just tried to make herself seem more human. She used ChatGPT to come up with the script to come off.
She at the beginning of it, she sounded like she was all for it. And then at the end, she's like, yeah, I don't know. Maybe this is not such a good idea.
I mean, it could just be that she's part of the, the modern human species that is so jaded with all of the shit that we've all seen every day on the internet that it's just so matter of fact about something that's basically horrific that she doesn't feel anything for it.
I think old Blindy might be a cannibal.
Right,
Pig
just slurp
people
it right off
bacon.
the board.
At least in part. Yeah, I mean they call it long pig for a reason, right? Long pork, because
Long pig.
Supposedly, pigs taste the most like human flesh of any other animal.
Yeah.
From what I heard, I don't know this for a fact. I have eaten a lot of pig though, so it is delicious.
If you've eaten Chinese, then you've.
And arguably, pigs are arguably self-aware animals. I mean, like they're smart enough to know what they're in for, right?
Smarter than dogs, supposedly.
Well, smarter than dolphins, possibly.
I can set that up quite nicely. When I was a child, we lived on a pig farm, and every so often you'd have a litter of pigs where there weren't enough tits for the piglets involved. And of course, a couple of them would eventually die. My mother decided to take one of the runts one time. It was the only one that didn't have a titty. She hand raised this thing from like as big as a peanut all the way up to a 350-pound hog. But this pig never accepted other pigs as its brethren. It refused to stay in the pen. It just would not do any of that. Instead, it decided to go hang out with all the dogs we were training. And so I might have had the only qualified search and rescue pig ever trained.
Pig dog.
Yeah. Yeah.
And they are smarter than dogs. You have to do a lot of repetition to train dogs. You have to do loads and loads of repetition. If you can ever get a pig to realize what it is you're trying to get him to do, that is the only time you will have to do it. He'll learn it immediately.
Yeah. I don't know. I know I taught a pig the meaning of the word bacon one time. When I was young. I was put on a work detail for shall we say delinquent activities. and what ended up happening, and when I say young, I was like 13, 14 years old. And they took us out to this petting zoo, and our job was to clean out the pig pens and the llama place and all that shit. And I got stuck like spraying off the hard concrete in the pig pen. Well, one of the little bastards decided he was going to chew through the fucking hose, or at least attempt to, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I mean, this is pretty obvious, like, reward punishment kind of shit. But every time he got close to the hose, I'd spray him in the face and I'd yell the word bacon. Eventually I didn't have to spray him in the face anymore. I'd just say bacon and he'd go away. It was a thing of beauty.
Okay.
Yeah, it was good times, good times. Anyway,
And they're a delicious animal that we butcher
good.
wholesale.
They're so good. Look, I hate to say it like this because this makes me sound super fucked up, but it's not our fault they're super fucking tasty. If they want to be eaten so much, maybe they should start tasting worse.
Exactly. Yeah, it's their fault.
#
victim blaming.
Yeah. If you ask me, having so many Jews and Muslims in the world is a good thing because that means more bacon for me.
Exactly, yeah. I'm totally fine with as many gays as possible. Because they're not going after the women. It's cool.
I don't. Okay, that's a way to look at it. It's one of the ways to look at it of all time.
They can all have fun with each other. We're all good.
Yeah. Well, I mean, that's the thing. Is they're delicious. They're one of the tastiest. As a matter of fact, so the Denver Zoo has, and I'm sure other zoos have these too. This is just where I saw them at. Has these kind of red bristle boars from like Central Africa, right? And apparently they're an endangered species. The reason they're an endangered species is apparently among all of the porcine species, they are supposed to be the very tastiest, right? Which means
really?
I will never get a chance to eat any of that stuff short of like black market and, poaching and all that stuff, which I don't want to do.
Isn't that supposedly why the dodo died out? Because people just loved eating them.
Well, the dodos were tasty, but they died out because they were also fucking morons. They would just walk right up to dudes and get clubbed to death.
And yet somehow sloths are still around. What the fuck?
Well, you got to go into places where everything else is trying to kill you to get the sloths.
Yeah.
The trees and the frogs and
the drop bears.
Do they have sloths in Australia? I thought that was a South American thing.
I don't know. There's variants of both of these creatures pretty much all over the place. This is what lends credence to the theory about Antarctica actually being a fruitful continent at some point, and that some of the life forms that developed there spread around its circumference.
Wouldn't you think that would lend more credence to the Pangea theory? Or all continents were at one time one continent?
Well, there's a difference of several 100 million years, so probably not.
Well, I just wondered because there's a fair amount of distance and water between Antarctica and everywhere else.
There is now, yes. Sure. Not always.
Well, that's true. But the actual landmass of Antarctica is considerably smaller than what we mapped out as a continent. That's mostly ice that we mapped out as a continent.
Yeah.
Without that, the actual landmass is, I mean, it's quite a bit smaller than it looks on the map.
But going back, even as close as 2,000 to 3,000 years, it was totally different. And then going further back, it was actually basically a forest continent.
So let's get real conspiracy theory about this then. Do you think that there is a hidden Nazi base in Antarctica? Like real Nazis, like ran away from Germany in 1945 and set up a base.
I mean, most of them went to South America, so it's not implausible that some of them just hopped on a boat and fucked off further south.
Second question. Do you think there is a hidden Nazi base on the dark side of the moon?
Well, considering that NASA based all of its technology on the V2 rockets that bombarded London during the Second World War, it's not implausible.
Also, Werner von Braun, the guy who engineered the V2 rocket design, after the first test, said the rocket performed perfectly. It just landed on the wrong planet.
Yes.
No, that's documented. He did say that. I'm just fucking with you, dude. I don't actually necessarily believe that these things are real things, but they are fun to think about. Did you ever see Iron Sky?
Yes. Have you seen the second one?
I have, where they go to
that
the center of the earth with all the reptilians and shit. Yeah.
Balls deep into conspiracy, yeah.
It's
holy
wild.
Shit. Yeah.
So yeah, guys, if you guys haven't watched the Iron Sky movies, they are completely batshit, but they're a lot of fun.
Yeah.
My favorite bit is in the first one. So these 3 American astronauts get sent up to the moon, right, to do moon things, and they're going to hit the dark side of the moon for the first time, and yay, science. And they get there, and there's this giant base in the shape of a fucking 4-story swastika.
Yeah.
and there's a bunch of Nazis who've been there since the war. And they have, but they haven't been there since the war. This is like the 2nd or 3rd generation since then, right? Because like all the original guys there died of old age. So none of these people have ever seen a black man before. And one of the astronauts is a black guy. So they don't know what's wrong with him. And they try to fix his skin by dyeing him white.
Spoiler alert, he gets fixed.
It's such a fucking wild movie, man.
It's fucking mental. Oh god, we should do like a film review thing at some point. Because like yeah, well, I've got to dip out now, so hopefully you're still around in an hour.
We will see what we can see. I think Sasquatch is AFK, so you guys are gonna have to like listen to me for a while, just kind of go on for a bit. But hey, before you dip out, in case we are not still live when you come back, because you know, I don't know, this we may not go another full hour. Where can people find you on the internet elsewhere, and what do you have coming up?
They can find me on YouTube and Twitter/X. Abe's gonna get you. More often than not, you'll find me on Tomby's channel, The Real Tombly Blues. I'm going to be going there now for Anime After Dark. We're currently watching Solo Leveling and Sakamoto Days. And then the next time you'll see me around will be on Tuesday, also on Tomby's channel for some gaming. But yeah. If you're still on, I'll jump back in.
Absolutely. Always good to have you, man.
Yeah, it's always fun to be here.
So,
okay.
All right. Fuck off.
Ta-ta.
I'd see you later, man. All right, folks. So this is just a kind of an interesting situation we got into ourselves. Last week, we ended up having a bunch of people show up on panel, which almost never happens on this show. But when it does, it tends to be kind of chaotic and fun. This week, everybody's got shit to do, apparently, except me, because, you know, this is my show. I have to be here. I think so. I don't really have anything going on anyway. My life is empty and void, and I don't sleep. So you're just going to have to put up with me for a little bit.
And then what happens?
Oh man, that's about it. I'm glad you're here because I actually do have one other thing I was going to definitely want to bring up today, which is why I put the hashtags in that I did. And I should be able to share this without it lagging out because it's not a fucking video. Sleep is for the dead. Yeah. The dead. What is that from? Some fucking movie or whatever? Hi Kenzo, good to see you.
What's up, Angie? Jack? Welcome in, bud.
This was something that got brought up repeatedly on several shows recently, but I wanted to bring it up myself as well. This chick calls herself the religious hippie on Twix. posted something, and I wanted to discuss this a little bit. So, what she says here, let's see if I can make this. No, that's as large as it's going to get. Okay.
Bigger thigh.
Yeah. Anyway, what she says here is whenever I talk to my girlfriends who are looking for a husband and a good father to their future kids, there's always one recurring turnoff: man children. Men who cosplay, even LOTRs, are obsessed with Legos, Marvel, Star Wars, basically toys in general. It's the number one consistent complaint I hear from women, not only my friends. So I am curious as to what the chat thinks. I know I have some thoughts about this, as far as like, the validity of a man's hobbies, like what they specifically are. I know Matt Walsh is out there saying, yeah, if you're doing anything other than fucking chopping wood, you're not a man. And fuck that guy, and his opinions. But Sasquatch, what do you think
About manliness?
Yeah, well, about like the man-child syndrome thing that they're talking about.
All right.
Like
So
guys who collect Star Wars action figures, right? But otherwise take care of their fucking families, and they go to work and they pay their fucking taxes, and they go off to war and all that shit. They do everything a man's supposed to do, but they happen to like Star Wars action figures or comic books or video games or building model trains or whatever.
It's taken the place of the time spent milking the cow. Right. You used to, that man would have spent 10 hours a day out there doing something to do with the farm work involved with the household, because every household was something of a homestead, and you did as much as you could at home so you wouldn't have to purchase anything. Right. Things have become so liquid that the modern man is left with 8 hours a day they have to figure out how to fill. And they try to fill it with women, and they get mad about it. And then they try to fill it with titties, and the women get mad about that. And so they play with their Star Wars figures, and they get mad about that too. So there's no winning on this conversation. You're just dealing with the need to do something, and this is what they chose to do.
Yeah. No, I'd agree with you. My own dad used to do projects and shit. He always had to be working with his hands, right? So he etch glass or burn wood or make like bats on a lathe or whatever. He would always find some project to keep his hands busy because he didn't know what to do with himself if he wasn't making something. And I don't see that as very much different at all from say a guy who likes to build fucking 40K dioramas. It's filling the time. It's fairly productive and creative. It's not, I mean, productive in the sense that he's producing something, not that, whatever. But it's also, while he's doing shit like that, you know what he's not doing, ladies? He's not out cheating on you. He's not beating anybody up. He's not going to jail. He's not getting fucking wasted. Right. I honestly, I don't see what the downside is.
Brings up an interesting point. One of the most dangerous people I ever knew in my not the most dangerous person, but one of the more dangerous people I knew in my life was a full blood, tried and true brony.
Yeah. I mean,
I got something to show you backstage. We'll do it right as you go out there. Because I want y'all to do me a favor. Stop sending me this.
Unless your hobby is putting brains in computers, I'm cool. Yeah, that's fair. That's fair. Yeah, hobbies are there's nothing wrong with hobbies. Like your hobby might be going to the gym and getting fucking fit, right? Your hobby might be hiking in the woods. Your hobby might be collecting first edition books from the 1800s. It might be, fucking building Legos, whatever, But there's bitches out there who will say things like, if you're, playing with toys and you're not doing it with your kids, then you're not a man, kind of shit. And I was like, I don't see that. I don't like, obviously, yeah, there's a certain amount of boyishness that's still in that person, but I don't think that makes them less of a man if they're still taking care of everything else they need to do.
Agreed. And there's one more thing when it comes to figures and comic books and stuff like that. There's a certain amount of investment in that's not considered when you take on the concept of a hobby. It's never considered what that hobby may generate long term.
Yeah. Yeah, well, and that's the other thing. Like certain hobbies, like my dad collects coins, right? He collects old coins, rare coins. He collects coins that aren't that fucking rare, but he's got tons and tons and tons of coins. And his hope is, aside from the fact that he just likes coins, is that at some point some of that is going to be worth enough to pass on to his grandchildren. You know, and to help set them up and take care of them later, right? So yeah, you're right. There's a certain amount of investment in that. Some of the things that I collected when I was a kid, I wish I still had, because they're actually worth quite a bit of fucking money now. You know, so
Right, dude.
hey, so
I had the Battle Cat tank, the freaking Thundercats multi-pawed tiger tank thing that it had. I had that
right.
thing in perfect working condition. I picked it up when I was 15 at a freaking sidewalk garage sale. It was still in the damn box. I took it home, stuck it on a shelf, didn't think nothing about it for like 5 or 6 years. At the time, it was worth like $300, right?
Mhm.
I go on vacation, or actually, I went to work on a beach, so it wasn't vacation. I was actually working, but I was on a beach, and so it was a definite upswing on that one. When I get back, my brother had taken it out of the package and given it to his kids to play with,
Yeah.
and I
Yeah.
didn't even react. I walked in, saw the part, I saw the little missile that come with it sitting on the porch, and knew what had happened the second I saw that missile.
Yeah. Yeah. Uh, so fun fact about me, you might not know, is I do collect Star Wars Lego sets. Right. I haven't gotten any new ones in a while, but I do collect them. Well, I'm gonna not go into the details of why, but it helped me get through a pretty nasty period of my life. Gave me something that distracted me and gave me something to do with my hands and everything that we already discussed, and was actually cathartic and fairly healthy. The problem with that is that you can't have like an expensive, well put together, Star Wars set, like say a Death Star that took you 4 fucking days to put together, like 4 days no sleep straight through, right, to put together and to get set up how you want. And then your brother brings over some random hooker and she just starts pulling pieces off and going, "Oh, this is neat," right? That bitch almost learned how to fly out of a 3-story window that day. That's all I'm saying.
As your Sasquatch, I advise you not to tell that story again. Yeah, I get it, but like I reiterate the point that not all of it has to do with man-childness. It has to do with something that was picked up in childhood, and just there is no need to put it aside, and
Right.
just because it happens to be coins or stamps or collectible figurines or Hummels or my wife's grandmother, she had a collection, get this, a collection of uh, pot holders that were in the shapes of animal faces.
That's kind of niche.
It was very niche, and she had hundreds of them, right? So after she died and all of the will was dealt with, we ended up with this pile of like 200 freaking pot holders from all over the world, like 90 of them different animal faces and builds and types. When I first, like many moons ago, when I first started talking about starting a YouTube channel, one of the things I wanted to do was to have a puppet show using these pot holders, but my children gave them away to people. And I burned a
That's
few.
unfortunate.
I have something backstage if you'd like to take a look at it.
Sure. If we can do that.
We can try. All right, people. I
What
need you to
the
stop
holy
sending me
fuck
this.
is this?
Stop sending me this. It's not me, and it's not actually my wife. So chill.
Watching me is my anxiety. Feel like I'm stuck in a maze.
Oh yeah.
It's not me. I swear. It's not me.
It's super convincing, dude.
But it's not me, man. I can't convince you. You weren't there, but it's not me. I mean, I do dress up as a woman squatch and dance sometimes, just not in the woods. I do it at home. What's up, sir? Good to see you. You came in at an odd moment in my life.
Oh yeah, that's a strange thing. You know, I think we're gonna need a little bit of a Sasquatch cleanse here. So let
Got
me
you.
find the damn
Cheers,
thing. There
man.
it is.
No. That like, see, I get a lot of that one too. And I like that one more. It just makes me look clumsy.
Yeah, you sent that one to me for the record.
Probably, yeah.
Like I got it from you.
Stop sending me this.
I think it's fair to show it to you if you were the one who gave it to me in the first place.
I don't know. It's kind of like an Uno reverse card. I didn't think that worked in real life.
Right? Oh, so I guess anyways, back onto the thing there. These women who are out there are the same women who are complaining that there are no good men out there. I mean, it's a matter of unrealistic standards, right? They're just like, oh my God, he's perfect in every way, but he plays with toys, so he's not a real man, so he's not, up to my standards. Kind of shit. It's like I don't know. It's just another way
Sure.
to not settle down. If you ask me.
I propose, and stick with me here because I might lose some of y'all along the way. If a man having a collection of figurines, Star Wars stuff, lightsabers, freaking Harry Potter, whatever it is, but he does everything else right, six-figure income, 6 foot tall, everything else, and you're like, oh, he has children hobbies. You're the problem. You are the problem. Your unrealistic standards. Basically, Andy Pickle said it earlier in chat. If they're getting on to you about your hobbies, it's because they want that time and attention for themselves. And furthermore, they have usually that type of stuff doesn't even come up until the one that's doing the complaining has already expended time elsewhere.
Yep. And I mean that's we know with video games specifically, we know that's a fact. That's a thing that has been said out loud specifically many times by many women, including my ex fucking wife. Right. You're not paying attention to me when you're doing this. You're not doing what I want you to be doing when you're doing this. This takes away from time that you could be using to be my, little minion. Go clean the gutters, go, do whatever, but not that. Because that benefits me in no way.
There's a bit to be said there about the fact that too much of a thing can be a problem, and it doesn't matter what it is.
Sure, obviously you don't want to like get obsessed with something and bury yourself in it, right? Like a guy who collects figurines is a different story than a guy who lives and breathes them and thinks and talks of nothing else to the exclusion of everything else in his life. Yeah, that's obsession, dude. That's not a hobby anymore.
Sure. But when you're talking about video games and you've experienced it, I've experienced it, video games have a way of kind of taking over a few more minutes a day. And next thing you know, you are sitting there on every waking moment you have that you're not forced to do something else, Yeah.
Well, no, I mean, you're right. There is something to that as well. But that is what I see this chick, this religious hippie's tweet basically saying is she's applying that logic to everything else as well.
Welcome in, creating a homestead in Colorado. Good to see you, bud.
That's a oddly specific handle.
Yeah, I've got to talk to that guy. I've got some ideas about that. It helps if you're near a mountain.
Yeah. Aaron Lawrence saying vids of guys who do make income off the games and the women delete their accounts or break the device. Yeah, that's the other thing is like there are plenty of people who make a very lucrative living playing video games, right? At which point I would argue that if they have a woman, it is benefiting her because she's getting a taste of that cash, in one way or another.
Sure. I'm honestly, I'm not sure how many of us. I mean, that's a job, bro. That's not a hobby. And if you're getting upset because somebody's making money doing something they enjoy, yet again, you're the problem.
Yeah. So I don't know. I think it's good for people to have. I brought this up last night as well. You don't have to understand your significant other's hobbies. You don't even have to fucking like those hobbies. What you do have to do is suck it up enough that you support the person. You don't have to support the fucking hobby. You can support the person who likes the hobby, right? If you care about that person, you're going to be there for them no matter what. And an example of this, my ex-wife, when we were still married and prior to our marriage, and even for a while afterwards, right? She's really into like art photography, like going out to like old burnt out homesteads and taking like bleak black and white photos of like children's shoes poking out under 2x4s and rattlesnakes and that kind of thing. Some of them were really, really cool. I don't know anything about photography. I don't care about photography. It's like I take some pictures with my phone once in a while, but I'm not like the art of it. Just escapes me, and I don't care enough to pursue it. But the thing is she did, and she was my wife. So yes, I backed her up on that. I helped her, pay for equipment. I helped her, go through, gave her my opinions on different shots and filters and that kind of thing. Even when I didn't know what I was talking about, I tried real hard to give her an honest opinion and all that stuff because I wanted her to do well in the hobby that she chose. What, that I cared about my wife?
No, that you cared about what she thought. The thing is like, and
well, that's a good point though, because it wasn't reciprocal. She didn't give a fuck about anything I was into.
Right.
So.
My wife got into photography so much so that this lovely stream cam that I use was part of the things that were purchased in the process of it. And listen, you want to talk about the biggest freaking comedy of errors? So after years of taking pictures and everything seemed, I don't mean to be an asshole. It was fairly generic, taking pictures of the same stuff everybody else is always taking pictures of. And it was always had a little bit of a soft glow to it. And I was like, why don't you like focus it? It is focused. Why don't you focus it? It is focused. She had cataracts so bad that by the time she was like 25, she had to have both cataract like lenses removed from her freaking eyes and had then glass ones put in. And since then, she can't really, her pupils don't really dilate properly. And so she can't really do the photography thing, especially if the sun's involved.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a bit of a bitch.
She drove, she had a job driving like 60 miles a day. She was legally blind at that point. And I knew I'd screwed up.
It seems
I used
like
to
a
walk
bit of a conflict of interest.
I hear what you're saying, and I get it. But I used to come in and every time I'd go to a store, I'd buy her like an oatmeal cream pie or some freaking powdered donuts or what the fuck ever, right? And when I walk in, I'd throw them at her and just hit her right in the goddamn face with them. Like, get mad for me bringing you something sweet, I dare you. About a week after those surgeries, I walked in and threw one at her. She reached up and palmed it out of the air, and I said, "Oh, I fucked up." Oh no, you can see. Wait, are you going to divorce me? She's like, "No, why would I divorce you?" Well, you can see now. But I guess what she's looking at is not nearly as bad as the shit that I say. So I'm not going to leg on with that one. Somehow ugly and drop dead handsome.
Yeah. So I don't know. It was just one of those things. It's obviously just a discussion topic because it's not there's nothing life or death. It's not world ending or anything like that. But this does kind of lead into the thing about like with men and women not getting along, whether that's artificially produced by the man or just a natural consequence of the way that we live nowadays. Doesn't really matter. Fact is men and women aren't getting along, and this is just one more little straw on that camel's fucking back. In the inability of the two sexes to get along with each other long enough to make another fucking generation.
I'm kind of off, but also on topic. The whole red pill sphere thing is like feminism for men.
It is exactly that. It is exactly that. It's the horseshoe theory, right? It's the same fucking poison just coming out of the other side's mouth.
Right. It is just as destructive to the common family unit as feminism. The whole
No, it
idea,
absolutely is.
the whole concept, and I really wanted to disassemble this dude on a panel the other day about it because he was talking about the sexual marketplace. And I'm like, dude, if you're going to hookers, say you're going to hookers, that's a sexual marketplace. The bar, the club is not. In fact, you should not even be in competition with other men in the first place. You're not looking for a woman that's choosing you out of a crowd. You're looking for a woman that's choosing you. Period. So don't go to the club. Don't go to the freaking to go to a swap meet. Go what if you collect figurines, you collect little Star Wars things, go to a place to show off some of your Star Wars things. Do
Like
it in
a
public.
Comic-Con or something, yeah.
Comic-Con, yes, go to a Comic-Con. Do this a few times, and it's not an immediate solution. It does take a little while, and inevitably, I don't care if you play Magic the Gathering, inevitably you'll come across some dude who's like, hey, my cousin's into that crowd. And then she'll call you up and y'all will freaking meet. And the next thing you know, wimbo bambo, you've been married 15 years and you hate her. But it's okay because you're married and you have 4 freaking rugrats running around snatching all the crumbs that fall off your beard. It's okay, dude. That's life. That's the way that works.
Real quick, Cybertosin, 100% agree. Red Pill was a movie reference that became a political thing that was later co-opted by those MGTOW guys.
Right.
Now, anytime somebody says anytime somebody says red pill, they think the male, side of the anti other sex equation. But that's not what that was. That's not what that was about. That was about like, hey, do you want to be blind to what the government is doing and continue about your life, or do you want to wake the fuck up, be miserable, but at least know the truth? That's what the red pill was about. It was never about fucking, Undead Chronics bullshit, for example.
Dude, don't even get me started on that one. That's
as far as I'm gonna go with that. I shouldn't have said it anyway because he's friends of a friend of mine, but whatever.
Look, I mean, okay, so I can dig it. A handful of people had their little wormy, decrepit, degenerate hearts crushed by some show enough players, right? That happens. What you don't do is cleave to your victim status and be like, all women are evil. You don't try to say, well, you're a high value man. Dude, you don't even know what you're talking about. You're not a woman. You have no idea what a woman wants. And you're sitting around trying to tell other men how to pick up women when they are not you and you are not them. You have no idea where they're coming from. It's repugnant. The whole concept.
I guess the problem for me is okay, I'll wait.
I'm sorry. You zoned out there, person.
Oh no. Yeah. My whole thing shut down on me for a second, right in the middle of something. But
Anson, no, I'm not describing Black Pill. I'm not. I know it sounds like I'm describing Black Pill, but I'm talking about your classical red pill content creators out here trying to tell you things that are absolute lies. The whole idea of a sexual marketplace, of trying to pit yourself in the pit against other men of equivalent or lesser value. You first have to go through an entire thought process of who, what, when, where, and when this value is supposed to make itself known. And then they go further into this imaginary concept of the standards of their women. Well, listen to me, brother. While you're out there chasing that 10, you're letting 5,000 5s go away that all suck dick better than she does.
Because they try harder.
They try harder. They want it more, sir. And it is worth the effort.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I mean, that I think everybody's got their standards set to an astronomical degree. And the fact is not one of us measures up. Not one. And that's how you end up with dropping birth rates. That's how you end up with a population crisis, right? And I do, as you guys know, I do believe that some of this is very much manufactured by the people who want to fucking reduce this population down to about 500 million people. I
Yeah,
absolutely believe they have a hand in that shit. I do believe that there's shit behind the scenes going on. Like the whole feminism movement, you're right, D-Day, Direwolf, that is state sponsored. It was designed to disrupt the family unit and to, all that shit is absolutely correct. I'm just not convinced that the MGTOW side of things isn't equally state sponsored.
sure. And I found out some other stuff, and this goes way deeper than I thought it did. All right, so I told you like many years ago, back before I gained enfranchisement, uh, I was part of a militia, and then one day, one month, we went up there to go do all the monthly stuff you're supposed to do to maintain the militia, and we get there, and the old dude that was been in charge of the militia for like 30 years was explaining how this new guy was going to come in and he's going to update everybody on rules and stuff. And it turned out that he was just taking over the militia, and that militia failed the following month. No one else showed up. Homie walked in with the Fed starter kit and the tactical package, and no one came back. So I noticed that. And then many years later, I started my YouTube channel. I started interviewing people, and I started coming across people who had these really weird proclivities to be oddly federalist, if you will, like from areas where they shouldn't be. So like homesteaders typically have something more of an anti-government stance than your average American. And yet you can go out there and find 6 homesteader channels where they will quote Bible, I mean, like freaking verse verbatim from the mainstream media, so that they're, whether or not they're federales or freaking plants or just doing it because YouTube pays them more, whatever, better algorithms, I don't know. But it's evil. It is evil.
Anson Knowles says you're focused on the pickup artists in the red pill space. Not all the red pill folks are like that. It's about radical acceptance of what women are instead of keeping the fairy tale idea of women. So here's the thing. If you're going to realize what women are, Anson, the only thing that you need to know, honestly, that any of us need to know, is women are human. Just as fucked up as everybody else. Right? We're all screwed up.
Perfect. No one's perfect.
But
and
that,
so you will never
but that doesn't mean that you. Well, and everybody's had a bad fucking experience, right? One that wrecked them for a while with a member of the opposite sex. Everybody on earth goes through that at some point. That doesn't mean that you throw the entire sex out. Because of one bitch.
Depends on how autistic you are. But yeah, generally speaking, the only way you truly fail is if you do not try again. And when you try again, it's best to try in a different way, different location, different place, different method, different technique, different style, whatever it was. If you go to the club expecting to meet a wife, don't be surprised when you hook up with a whore.
Yeah. That's actually the only reason to go to a club, is to find a whore, somebody who's going to put out.
Sure.
That's it.
But my point is, you're not going to find your significant
I might be roboting quite a bit here.
You know, it's just not like that. And the question of body counts, I'm not even sure the body count actually matters once you become an adult, right? Once you got 3 kids and have lost track of your own body count, like, how the hell am I supposed to judge some woman that I'm paying to come over here? I don't care what her body count is. She's a hooker, dude. Like, it's fine.
I mean, yeah, if you're paying for it and you know that's what she does for a living, that's a question you'd better off not asking.
Right. Just, I mean, that's another point.
Like if you're gonna go through with it, man, just shut the part off of your brain that cares about that kind of thing, because you don't want to know. So there was a couple of things here.
Hanson, I haven't been awake long enough
in the chat. Number one, Old Blindy says, "Oh, I think I fucking roboted again, didn't I?"
I was talking over you. My bad.
God damn it. Oh no, it's fine. I can't. I couldn't hear you at all. So it's just, I was trying to fill up fucking dead air, and then it turns out no, I was the dead air. Sorry.
He says
Old
we're
Blimey,
programmed by our.
no. Attractive
ahead.
women do not fart rainbows. They fart poop particles, same as you. That's what people need to realize.
But they are colored like sprinkles.
I mean, yeah, it depends on her diet, I suppose, and whether or not she like puts glitter on her butthole.
Anson says we are programmed by our culture to fulfill certain roles in certain ways. It's about skepticism and questioning what you think is true. Counterculture is beneficial because of the perspective shift. However, when counterculture becomes mainstream culture, you end up with what's happening in the news today. When 0.02% of the population can take 90% of the news cycle, you're no longer dealing with a counterculture. You're dealing with a what is it called? Oh yeah, a conquest.
Yeah, it's the culture at that point. It's no longer counter. I would agree, Anson, that yeah, we're by and large we're programmed by everything, that we experience and we see and we hear and all that stuff. But we also are all burdened with this glorious thing called free will, and we're all individuals free to make other choices. So I don't know that I buy that we're all like look, I get the programming thing, and I think it does affect us to a certain degree. Affect all of us to a certain degree. Propaganda does, especially people who think they're fucking immune to it, right? But we still have those choices. We still have the ability to choose. We still have the ability to, go in any direction that we so wish, right? The free will, that's a part of all of us, right? You can't take that from somebody. You might break a person enough so that they can't see that they have it, but they still have it, right? So I prefer to take people as individuals as they come, or as I come, in the case of my experience with the opposite sex.
Get your tentacle porn today.
Yeah, right. I am tentacle born. Aaron Laura, I'm Canadian. I have no free will. That's true, except Canadians. Canadians have no free will. That's a fact. That is biologically true.
That's kind of a weird statement, considering that it's not a war crime until a Canadian does it. They got to have some level of
right.
Otherwise, it's not a crime. Without intent, it goes nowhere.
Right.
Might be overthinking it.
Anyhow, listen, folks, I think I'm probably going to bring the show to an end because I am having serious connection issues. It keeps dropping me. And that's not good considering I'm the one who's running all this shit. So, but we did an hour and a half show today. I think that's probably good. We, kind of meandered a little bit here and there. Thank you guys for hanging out and chatting with us and meeting, meeting up here and just generally, I don't know. Now that I'm not even fucking dropping, my words fail me. Word hard.
Word hard.
So hard.
English hard.
No speak good.
Speak
anyhow.
Good.
Thank you guys for coming. Thank Abe for being here earlier and doing the argumentative thing. Thank you, Sasquatch, for sitting through yet more brain organoid nonsensory.
Just go to hell. Stay there.
I know. I'll see you there. You can find their links in the description below. Go check them out. They do good work. Sasquatch, in particular, does a lot of really cool, weird, funky, out there shows on his channel. So definitely go check him out if you're not already over there.
Nice.
And that's really it. That's all I got. Do you have anything you want to pimp out before we go?
Yes, I've just purchased a brand new 2025 hooker. If anybody would like to give me money for hookers and cocaine, you can do it at $$ CaucSquatch. There's something wrong with me, dude.
I love that it's pronounced CaucSquatch.
Yeah, dude. Like I actually put that to a poll, like a series of polls on my channel. When I found out I couldn't get Caucasian Sasquatch with the $, I had to figure out something else, and it ended up CaucSquatch. And you can thank who is it, Snarkin' Sass and the Raging Tomato for choosing that one. They won the toss up.
Fair enough. Hey, thanks, man. I appreciate it.
Yes, sir.
Appreciate it. We kind of winged it a little bit today. Sometimes it's a little bit better, sometimes it's a little bit worse. Today was pretty good, I think. But me and Sasquatch, and I'm finding out Abe can talk about pretty much anything. So whether we know anything about what we're talking about is a whole other kettle of worms, but we can talk about it.
Yeah, I talk a whole lot, and sometimes I have to tune myself out. So you might have to remind me what
Right.
it was I said that was so poignant and meaningful. Because
that's why I don't put that's why I don't put topics in the titles, right? Just the numbers. It's just to fuck with you specifically when you're looking for something.
Well, you see, I have an issue with not having plans. It bothers me on a level that I didn't even know existed until someone else had control, and I was like, "What's the plan?" And they were like, "I don't know." My autism just kind of went nuts.
Right. All right. Well, thanks for coming, guys. We're gonna take off now. It's been fun. We'll see you next time. We'll be back here next week, internet permitting, obviously. I'm not gonna pip out my shit. Like you all know where to find me throughout the week. So probably over on Exiled Linus tonight, and so on and so forth. Anyhow, thank you all for being here. Have a great night, and remember, it could always be worse. It could be raining flaming cobras. Bye, everybody.